If you enjoy this episode of the Workflows Photography Podcast, hit that subscribe or follow button on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or whatever podcast player you are listening from.
Once you run it through Imagine, you just edit a full wedding in a couple of hours. So you made $3,000 in 2 hours instead of a week.
Workflows is a podcast about saving you time and money in your photography business. As a photographer and content creator who struggles with dyslexia, color blindness, introversion, and anxiety stemming from years of being bullied as a child, Workflows have been my rock. I have workflows for every aspect of my life, and that's why I'm so happy to bring you Workflows, a podcast presented by Imagine. As a company dedicated to saving you time and money in your photography business, it makes sense to enhance and expand the conversation to all things workflows. Tune in and subscribe to hear stories, strategies, and tools that could be your rock. Hear from people just like you. Put the camera down for a little, connect the headphones, and get to work with Workflows. Get in on the conversation by joining the Imagine community today. Imagine the possibilities. Braulio Rocha is a Montreal-based wedding and bar mitzvah photographer. New York Times wrote a full-page article about Braulio, calling him Montreal's bar mitzvah king of photography. Braulio is a fascinating person with a fascinating career path, as shared by the Montreal Gazette in a piece titled From Janitor to Entrepreneur, a Montreal immigrant success story. He is a father of 2 beautiful girls and is married to the love of his life, Sonia. Braulio is a speaker, educator, and motivator. Without further ado, here's my conversation with Braulio Rocha and a secret guest, surprise guest, that caught us off guard, but was really cute. So we went with it. Enjoy the show. How does it feel to experience a trade show, not only just a trade show, but one of the largest U.S. trade shows, from the perspective of being in a booth? How does that feel?
It was pretty dope. It was my first time in WPPI. I've heard about WPPI forever, and
Yeah.
The fact that I went to my first WPPI and was able to speak in a booth with people, especially a booth as special as imagen-ai, who workflow has helped me so incredibly, and being able to share that with other people, it was just surreal, really incredible.
Awesome. Yeah, the hustle and bustle, like the how busy it gets there is a little intimidating at times, and you handled it very well. So yeah, it was great to see you talking to everybody, and just it was fun for you to hang out, and yeah, I think we were, for the most part, we were on opposite sides of the booth when you were in the booth, because it's like,
Yeah.
like there's so many people coming from different directions. You just got to split up and conquer where you can. So
People curious, definitely, just like, what is this?
yeah. And how is the rest of the show for you otherwise? Because I think you got to go to classes and stuff too, right?
Yeah, I went to a couple of classes. I went to a couple photo walks. I assisted a couple of photographers, friends of mine. I was curious because next year, I want to host a couple of classes. I want to host a couple of workshops. I want to do a couple of photo walks. I really want to dive in and show people the potential of the bar mitzvah and the bat mitzvahs market. I mean, there's a lot of talks about weddings in WPA.
Yes.
Everybody talks about portraits and weddings. Nobody talks about anything else. And I'm known for bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs. I travel for bar mitzvahs and bat mitzvahs, and that's something I want to explore next year because it's tremendous potential, and I don't think a lot of photographers know about it.
Yeah. I've noticed over the years it's definitely a topic that is rarely talked about, or like a genre, not a topic, but because topic-wise it is kind of like weddings and other events, but like, yeah, genre-wise, like that specific niche is rarely talked about at most trade shows, actually. So yeah, it would be good to see you get out there more and talk about what you do, why you do, how you do for those specifically. So because they come with their own unique challenges, like the way synagogues are lit are going to be somewhat different than how a church might be lit, or how a regular wedding venue might be lit, so you've got your own unique challenges that you have to worry about.
Yeah, there's definitely challenges, but I find it I find it easier than weddings. I shoot a lot of weddings and a lot of bar mitzvahs, and I shoot a lot of weddings in the Jewish community. So even there I can see the difference between shooting a wedding and shooting a bar mitzvah.
Yeah.
The bar mitzvah parties, they're big parties, as big as weddings, but the workflow is a lot easier. And when we talk about business wise, we're business owners, right? We want to make money. We want to support our families. There's a potential of making more profit with half the work, half the headache, half the stress, half the anxiety on a bar mitzvah than on a wedding.
Right.
And the workflow also, the editing part, it's 10 times faster. Now with Imagen, it's 100 times faster. You can make as much profit or more profit on a bar mitzvah as you have in a big wedding with a lot less work. And people don't know this, and it's tremendous potential out there. And I definitely capitalize from it.
I'm sure through this conversation we're going to hear more about that. I've been bar mitzvahed, and I was at the time, obviously I was 13 when that happened, but I was photographed by at the time like the go-to person in my area in New Jersey where I live. And he and his wife, they were a team, and they both use Hasselblad. So my bar mitzvah was photographed on beautiful Hasselblad slide film, which technically it's not film, but slides, and gorgeous stuff. Anyway, so I as a professional myself, and as I've basically tried every single genre of photography over the many years, I have photographed a couple of bar and bat mitzvahs, and I know that from the synagogues that I've been to, they actually prefer you to not hear a sound. They don't want to hear your camera click. And so like when I did it with a mirrorless, I had to do it on silent mode. When I was doing it with a DSLR, I actually put in a blimp. So that way it would help. I'm sure not every synagogue cares, but certain ones,
Yeah, there's some synagogues are very strict.
Yeah. So let's actually dive in. Speaking of things you do for the photographic process, what is one thing you do for your photographic process, the part in the camera, behind the camera, when you're actually taking the pictures, that saves you time?
I turn off the lights. Ambient lights.
Okay.
Whatever ambient light. If I go to a bride's house, she's getting ready, or I go, I'm shooting the a bar mitzvah, right? During the ceremony process, I don't interfere. But when I do the portraits after the sequences, ceremony, brunch, and then we do portraits. When I do the portraits, the family portraits and the boys' portraits, we stage a little bit. I turn off all the lights. I go to a bride's house getting ready, or groom's house getting ready, lights off, all of them.
Interesting.
That's the first thing is say, because you have lights coming from the ceiling, right? That warm light, that tungsten light creates shadows under your nose, under and the temperature gets all mixed up because you have a mixture of the tungsten with the window light, and it's a white balance nightmare that takes forever when you're editing. And that's why a lot of photographers just go and do black and white. Black and white is not my thing. I don't like black and white that much. So my style is like the dark and moody and dramatic. So that's the first thing I do. I get to a house, lights off.
Yeah, that definitely, I'm sure that helps get you even closer to that point of, because your editing style is really gorgeous, especially for bar and bat mitzvahs. Like, I've never seen anything like it before. In growing up in that community, I've never seen that before. So, that it totally makes sense to fully take control, take out every bit of the equation, so you are in complete control with whatever lights you bring into the scene, to be able to get you to that dark and moody look that you have, that you've built over the years. Fantastic. I love that.
It's funny you said that. The New York Times article comes from an interaction between me and the reporter. I didn't know it was a reporter. I was shooting a bar mitzvah, and the New York Times reporter was the boy's uncle, right?
Interesting.
And when we start the portraits, I'm telling the guy there, the janitor, turn off the lights. I want all the lights off. And he's sitting behind me, and he gets up and he says, "Excuse me, I'm I'm a reporter for the New York Times. I follow photographers around, and I know for a fact that for pictures you need light, and you're turning your lights off. What kind of photographer are you? This is my nephew, huh? I didn't know who he was.
Right.
I looked back and I told him, well, sit down. You're going to learn something today because I am
Enjoy the
light.
show.
Enjoy the show. I am light. So that's why I turn the lights off. I have my lights. Turning the lights off, I have total control of ambient light, and I create the light. And the light tells a story. Light is not just to
Yeah.
expose a subject or backlight. Light literally tells the story. That's how I approach the bar mitzvahs.
That's so good. That's so good. The controlling the light is actually something that in an episode previously with Charmy Pena, she actually said something very, very similar, different actually than what you said about turning off the lights, but rather a lot of the wedding venues that she shoots in New Jersey, where she also lives in New Jersey, they use certain LED bulbs that look horrible on camera, and she actually has her wedding venues whenever she's shooting at these venues, she has them swap out the light bulbs for her. So like they actually change the bulbs and the chandeliers and stuff for her. Like she's at the level where she gets those requests handled, but but yeah. So
in
like
the reception hall, I do the opposite. Reception hall, I want ambient light.
Right.
As much as possible. I go to the DJ as his lights pointing at the right. So I go to him and I say, look, the first dance, I don't want to interfere with your light shows. Couples pay a lot of money for that.
Yes.
On the dance floor, do me a favor. Point all of your lights on the first dance, the couple first dance. Point all of your lights towards the couple, 5,500K as max power as you can.
That's a good,
That's
yeah.
the opposite.
Yeah, you're getting nice, spotlight type effect to like give them like they're on stage type of look.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
You put your camera at f8, ISO 100, you get those star bursts.
Yeah. Yeah.
You add a light behind you with a honeycomb so that the light doesn't spread, and you have this beautiful dark around them, spotlights, and it's just unique.
Awesome. Let's move into the business side of things. So
yeah,
I specifically want to hear, because as you said, so much of the industry is focused on weddings. Like even our podcast, a lot of times we have people come on, actually the episode before you with Ashley Jean, she's a personal brand photographer. So that was a nice break from weddings. But the question I'm about to ask you, I'd love to hear specific to Bar and Bat Mitzvahs, is what is one thing that you do for the business that saves you time or money? And not Imagine, we're going to get to Imagine down the road.
Yeah.
Anything else in your business that saves you time or money?
Well, setting up bar mitzvah packages, aside from, so everybody has wedding packages, right? And then I do headshots, I do corporate headshots, and I don't do a lot of family ports. I don't like doing it, but occasionally I'll do it. And you set up a price, there's a session fee, and then per image, and then you do in-person sale, right? You sell the prints, you sell canvas, whatnot. For bar mitzvahs, we would waste a lot of time bidding around the bushes, the pricing and whatnot. So, in the city that I live in, Montreal, I'm the most established bar mitzvah photographer, right? So the same way your previous guest, you said she can go to a hall and she's big enough that they will do whatever she says. On the bar mitzvah, I set up my prices. It's by far the most expensive in the market. But the like you said, my images are, I will never say my pictures are better than others. Art is subjective, but they're different, right? My images are very different from anything that anybody else says. So, in my head, I was like, I'm a business owner. I need, I'm the sole provider of my family. I have 2 daughters. I want to put them in good schools. So I have to value myself. I have to value my art accordingly so that I can have a business that thrives, that survives, that maintains, and also give my family a good and comfortable life. So I created bar mitzvah packages and I priced them really high. And that saved money right away. The prices are on my website. Parents go on my website, they see the prices, and right away, if I get emails through my website, it means that they saw the price, they want to move forward. That just saves me so much time with people calling. How much do you charge? Can you do better? Can you do a discount? Because prices are on the website. People go to the website, the prices are there. If they proceed to contact me, that's out of the way right away. One less phone call, one less meeting. And then the prices, and then when I set up the prices, not just about pricing, It's also about products. So I have three bar mitzvah packages. The cheapest one has no products. It's just me. I go take the pictures, put everything on a gallery online, and then the other two, because I'm big in products, right? I upsell a lot. There's so much money you can make out of selling prints and selling albums, and so I have the other packages who have products, who have canvas, who have prints. I want people to print their images, right? And it's important also from a business perspective, like when you create those beautiful bar mitzvah pictures, and then a family puts that on a wall on their living room, right? They have a Braulio right there on the wall. Then their friends and family come over and they see, wow, look at that! Like who did that? Who took that? So it's basically free marketing, other than just having images on a computer and a file. It's not even. I don't even consider it to be a picture if it's not printed, right? So setting up the packages in a way that allows me to sell products and having them on my website, it just saves. So people call me right away and tell me, Braulio, I want package one, I want package two, I want package three. Or I have, by now, it's something I had to build up, but by now I have a reputation of not negotiating. People don't do that anymore. Can you do better? Can you know how the community works, right?
Yeah.
Can you do negotiating? Can you do better? They don't do that anymore. They go to the website, they see the packages, they see the ones that have albums, that don't have albums, that have canvas, don't have canvas, prints, don't have prints. They right away know which package they want. So when they call me, it's because they want to hire me and they know which package they're going to have. Boom, done.
Nice. Yeah, there's that ongoing debate in the photo industry for all genres of photography of, do you put your pricing on your site? Do you not put your pricing on your site? And the interesting thing is, I think the answer comes down to, depends on the location, because certain locations, if you put it on the site, it could backfire. And on certain locations, like you're finding with yourself, you put it on a site and it's working for you. So I think it's a great thing. Like, my advice would be to people is to test it.
Yeah. Put
it on your site, and see if it reduces the bad leads you get. And if it doesn't, then you take it off your site, whatever it is, but you have to test everything. You have to test always.
Yeah.
So
I'm a strong believer of putting the prices on the website, because right away it'll, you're not going to waste time, or even people, not just your time, potential clients.
Yeah.
Time. They look at the prices right away and they're going to see if this is good for them or not.
Right.
You're saving them time also. Okay, this is not for me. I'm going to right away go find somebody else. Or okay, I like the price, I like the images, I'm going to give this guy a call.
Yeah.
They already know the price. You don't have to go be talking about that anymore.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you still offer, even though you like to upsell to products, you still offer basically a gallery only option. How popular is that package for you compared to the others?
It's not the most actually the most popular package. So I have 4 packages, right? The cheapest one I have is not even me as a photographer. So I basically charge a premium to have me as a photographer. So there's the cheapest one is an associate photographer, also a gallery. Not everybody has a budget. They do have a budget, but as you know, photography sometimes is not as valued as the flowers or the caterer or the DJ, right?
Right.
So some people are just not willing to spend a lot of money in photography. So I created this. This was big for me as a business owner. Once you establish your credibility as a photographer and you create images that really stand out, I decided to charge premiums to have me as a photographer, and it does something to people's head. So it's exclusive. Okay, no, I want Braulio. I'm going to pay more to have him. Because it's him. It's just psychological.
Yeah.
And the bar mitzvah is extremely popular. Is the one that has an album. That's the most popular package that I have.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so. We've talked about the photographic process. We talked about the business process. Now, again, not Imagine, because we're going to get to Imagine down the road, but what is one thing you do for the editing part of the process that has saved you time?
Well, creating my own presets, for sure. I made a post on my group about it. I did a reel on my Instagram about it. No judgment to those who use other people's presets or don't use presets at all. You do you do what's best for you and
Right.
for your business. It takes time to be able to have the confidence to create your own presets, right?
Mhm.
So over time I was using other people's presets, and then I was tweaking here and there, and then when I was ready, I created my own presets. They're adjusted to the way that I shoot. I have a preset for the images that I shoot natural light only. I have a preset for the images that I use natural light blended with off camera flash with a lens wide open. I have a preset for the ceremony where I'm using flash, so light is different. I have a preset for the party pictures where I'm using off camera flash to light up the reception room, and I'm shooting f6, f7 because I want that image to be like very contrasty, very vibrant. So I created a preset for that. So having presets was the number one step that allowed me to really, and the presets are adjusted perfectly to the way that I shoot and to each part of a wedding day or a bar mitzvah day, and it just made everything so much faster. And then in Photoshop, eventually, there's always a few pictures that I grab. Those images that you mentioned, those you bring to Photoshop, you add a bit of juice. In Photoshop, creating my own actions also, it just made work so much faster. Much faster. So create your own presets when you're confident enough. And if I'm not a Photoshop specialist at all. A lot of people message me, can you edit my images? I will pay you. Would you teach me how to edit it in Photoshop? And I refuse. I'm not knowledgeable enough for that. I just created actions for the way that I shoot, created presets for the way that I shoot. And it's just, my life is so much easier.
Yeah. It is amazing that that presets and actions can really enhance your productivity. And then on the preset side, once you combine it with Imagen, which we'll get to, it's a whole different level. It's a whole different level.
Because even with preset, when you shoot volume, you still get flooded with work.
Yeah.
And we're gonna get there. But when I found out Imagen, I felt I was breathing underwater.
Yeah.
Even with presets. No, we're gonna get there.
Awesome. Pardon the interruption, but I want to take a moment to say that we at Imagen appreciate you. That's all. Now, back to this incredible conversation. We're going to do something fun that I've been doing lately, and I have a blast with this. So, pick a color.
I will go with green.
Green. I think the last 2 episodes were both green. That's interesting. Okay. I'm going to shuffle through the deck, and you're going to tell me when to stop.
Okay. Stop.
Okay. Your next question is, okay, if you were given $1,000 to spend on your closest friend, what would you get them?
My closest friend
Mm-hmm.
is my brother-in-law, and he's Jewish actually. Even I'm not Jewish, but my brother-in-law is Jewish. So I would get him a book to start with. He loves reading. What would I get him with $1,000?
Well, what would the book be on? Maybe it's a first edition
Jonathan
book.
Sachs book type of book. He loves Jonathan Sachs. I actually met him, such a nice guy,
Nice.
before he died. I would help pay him a trip to Israel. He's been dying to go to Israel, so
Nice.
that's what I would do. Yeah,
That's a great one.
Israel. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Cool. I like that answer. And he can read that book on the plane.
Yeah, there you go. Get him the book, and then I was shooting an event here in Montreal. Jonathan Sachs was the guest of honor, and he just launched a new book, and he was signing the books. So I actually got my brother-in-law a signed book from Jonathan Sachs.
Nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay, back to the workflows. What is one thing now that you do after a session? It's all done. You're now ready to deliver it and so on. What is one thing you do after a session that has increased business?
I do more than one thing, but like if safety first, right? So you get home, it's triple back up everything, right? Especially weddings and bar mitzvahs. It's not going to happen again. It's very important that people know that. And then I'll grab a few pictures, like highlight pictures from the day, and I will edit right away and send it to the couple. I find that goes a long way, because 2-3 days after the wedding, they will post on their social media, and their friends. It's still fresh. They're still dancing. It's been 3 days, but they're still dancing. They're still hangover, and the pictures are already there. So that's something that works a lot. There's something that I do during the weddings. I talk about this in my workshops. That also, definitely it's during the event, not after, but it helps, getting you out there and helps your business being known, which is during an event. I do a lot of stories, and as I'm videoing and I post the stories right away, I tag the vendors on the stories, and then the vendors share your story, and then you do this consistently. Your name starts getting recorded in their brains, and when people go to them and say, "By the way, do you know any photographer?" They're going to mention you because you shared their products on the event day through your stories. So this is also something I do. And if I don't have time to do it, I will definitely do a lot of videos and then post them as soon as I get home. Definitely take a lot of behind the scenes videos. Take a lot of videos of table setups and the flowers and is this okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you wanna come sit? Daddy's on the phone. You gotta be quiet, okay? Say hi, Scott. So I'll do that, and then a lot of behind the scenes. People love, even clients, they love seeing behind the scenes process. They love seeing the lights and how you do that, especially with the type of work that I do. And people go, how, and you show a little bit of behind the scenes. I find that brings a lot of traffic to my social media.
Awesome. Now, this next question, I'm going to ask you to look down at your business from a 30,000-foot view. Can you share an outlined breakdown of your workflow from lead to delivery?
Right. So people reach out after they go to my website. So, immediately I know that I'm very likely getting that contract.
Mm-hmm.
Invite them over to my studio. It's very important because in my studio I have prints all over the walls, I have big canvas all over the wall. I have album samples, So people come over, try to upsell. I want them to see the album, to see the products. Younger generation not so sure about albums, so I need to show them so that they see the potential of having those prints. I have a Scotch bar, coffee, food. You have to create a good environment for your clients. You can just ask them to spend money, and you're not like giving some kind of a good experience, a luxury experience, right? Sign the contracts, and then when the wedding's done or bar mitzvah, make sure I triple back up everything. I have the work hard drive, and then I have a server that I built myself, and then I have a cloud where I put all the images. You never know what can happen. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Nice. I don't know if you were told this, but you know that Imagen's working on our own backup solution.
Oh, I know that's good.
Yeah.
Because I use Backblaze, and sometimes it's just so complicated. I wish there was something more simple.
Yeah.
That's big news.
Yeah. So we talked about it on a webinar not too long ago, but we haven't made much of a splash yet. And yeah, it's in the pipeline. It's gonna be nice.
Should definitely do it. I was just talking. You getting into Capture One too, right?
Capture One's in the works as well. Yeah. Lots of cool stuff.
Thing too. Good stuff.
Yeah. Now I want to ask you, as somebody who is using AI in your photography business, what does the future of AI in photography look like to you?
Well, to me, it's exciting. Obviously, progress, new things that come into the way we used to doing things a certain way, and then evolution comes in, and you have to adopt, and that can be scary sometimes, right? But it's progress, and you can't stop progress. So you can either be chewed by progress or roll with it and take advantage of it. I'd rather take advantage of it, which is what I do with imagen-ai. I think AI, when properly used, is going to be it's already a wonderful tool for creatives like myself. I don't think that being a wedding photographer, wedding bar mitzvahs, event photographer, there's a lot of discussion, a lot of fear that AI will take over, robots will take over, whatever. I don't, at least in what I do, I don't think that's possible. because AI, as advanced as it is, it's still objective. It doesn't have that emotion and subjectivity that we as humans have. But on the editing side, it's certainly a plus. It's unbelievable how fast and accurate. Imagine, for example, how fast and accurate it is. It changed everything. Like I didn't even know if I was going to make it to WPI because I had so many weddings and bar mitzvahs to deliver 4 weeks before my trip to WPI. And I was down here, as you can see the stairs behind me. My house is upstairs, my office is downstairs, and I was here all the time. I was just taking my daughter to daycare, and then I would stay here until 11 o'clock in the evening, even with my own presets, even with my actions. It accumulates. In 2022 was the busiest season ever. And then it was my wife, actually, Sonia. She was the whole time, try this, try Imagine. I keep seeing these ads, Imagine, try. And I was a bit off school. I'm 47, I'm a bit off school, what is this AI editing for me? It can get scary, right? So I tried. She insisted I tried. And mind blowing immediately. It's like, wow, what just happened?
So
just edited a whole party. And
yeah. So my next question to you is actually going to be, how did Imagine impact your life? And it sounds like that it gets you out of your editing cave.
Oh my God, it does. Like I felt it changed so much. I felt compelled to. I called my videographer and I said, "Listen, we have to do a video, and we have to show this to the world because this really changes lives." So now I have a software that edits the way that I edit, which is super important, right? I have my presets. I have a way that I edit based on the way that I shoot. I think she fell asleep. Are you falling asleep? You're falling asleep, baby. It's okay.
That's really cute.
Yeah, yeah. She's been sick with this ear infection. So there's it's very important to edit the way that I edit, and Imagine does just that. Once you teach the software how you edit your pictures, it does everything for you, lightning speed. So now while Imagine is doing it for me, I literally get to spend time upstairs with my family and help, because we have another baby and my wife needs help. And I know she was like stressed, and mental health plays a role. So now I can help her, and we do things together. We go on dates. Me and my wife. We have babysitters and go on dates because I managed to edit, thanks to imagen-ai. I managed to edit 8 weddings and 2 bar mitzvahs with the bar mitzvah party in 3 weeks, when I used to take a week and a half for one wedding, because life takes over. You don't just hear edit, you stop, you go do your thing, so it accumulates, right? I did the whole thing, 8 weddings, 2 bar mitzvahs in like 3 weeks, 3.5 weeks.
What's your
Mind-blowing.
What's your go-to date night look like with your wife now?
My wife?
Yeah.
A good restaurant, good wine. We're blessed. We live in a good area, really close to downtown. Downtown Montreal is very vibrant. It's the typical big city, North American city. And we live close to the city, so I don't club anymore. So, a good restaurant, good wine, yeah, that's
awesome.
what we do now. We're parents now. We don't have the energy to go dancing.
Fantastic. So where can listeners learn more about you, connect with you, and of course, see your incredible photography?
Thank you for your kind words. Well, definitely my social media, at rochastudio.ca. Sorry, at Rocha Studio in Instagram. That's Rocha. I think in English you say Rocha. In Portuguese we say sh. So Rocha Studio. So that's Rocha Studio, only one word. On my Instagram, if you go to my reels, it's full of behind the scenes. I love sharing behind the scenes. I have no secrets. Go ahead and take it all in, and then adjust it to your way of shooting. My final work on the grid with my pictures. I have a YouTube channel also. You can find me at Braulio Rocha. And then the group that you're a part of, and you're an admin, and you help a lot of people there too. People ask questions, I have no idea. So Scott, please come. I tag you right away. Which is the Wedding Photography Education, a guide for beginners. We are going 6,000 strong now. And then I'm setting up my workshops where I will be teaching how to shoot, how I shoot. Um, I might show how I edit, even though it's not something that I'm charging for, because again, I don't think I'm knowledgeable enough to teach other people how to edit. I'll just show you how I edit my images so that they come up the way they came up. And then on my workshops, I'm also going to talking about the business side of it. I'm going to be talking about the upselling, the potential of how good it is for your business. I'm going to be talking about Imagine also. I want future wedding photographers. I don't want them to spend hours and hours and hours like I did for so many years in a bat cave, not living and just editing. Because when you use Imagine, you're also making money. You don't realize it. If you talk about numbers, let's say after you shoot a full day wedding, I'm going to throw a number. After expenses paid, taxes, your staff, whatever, you have a profit of $3,000, right? Just as an example. Takes you a week to edit a wedding plus the 14 hours shooting. So that's 7 days. Let's put 8 days. Total of 8 days. So you made $3,000 in 8 days. Pretty good. $3,000 in 8 days is pretty good. Once you run it through Imagine, you just edit a full wedding in a couple of hours. So you made $3,000 in 2 hours instead of a week. I want people to know this. This is now you can spend that extra time advertising your brand, building your brand, growing your brand, spending time with your family, which is so important, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So I'm going to be talking about that in my workshops too.
Well, thank you so much for hopping on, chatting with me, sharing your workflows with everybody.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much, Braulio, for that fantastic conversation. I'm so sorry that your daughter is going through an ear infection, but it was really nice to be able to, you were able to give her that affection and that love while we were recording. I know it was a little bit distracting for both of us, but we made it work. And there's a bunch of great takeaways here. Thank you again for taking the time for chatting with me and for sharing your knowledge with all of the Imaginers listening to this episode. You have been listening to Workflows, presented by Imagine. To hear more from Workflows and to find a link to our guest, please go to imagen-ai.com/podcast. Be a part of the conversation by joining the Imagine community at imagen-ai.com/community. And be sure to subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time.